Hey, what's going on? Out here in Cape Town. I wanted to shoot a video because I feel like whenever somebody, and I'm not just talking about myself, whenever somebody tells somebody else that they need to read their vision twice a day, if not more, I feel like people take it as a joke. So I'm here to talk about that today. And this is gonna come from a masculine perspective where the number one priority in my life is my mission. And if I am not fully aligned with my mission, I quite frankly don't have direction in life. My direction, the majority of what I do comes from the mission that I have. The only way that I can be so brought into my mission is by going over it continuously, like pretty much every day. And this is kind of how the perspective, the analogy that just came to my mind is actually about brainwashing, right? If you brainwash somebody, the way that generally works is about repeating the same thing over and over and over again until they believe it, or until it's like part of them, right? And it's the same thing here. We have to kind of program ourselves or brainwash ourselves, however you would prefer to refer to it, to firstly see the value in the mission, and then secondly make sure that we're pursuing the mission on a daily basis and actually making sure we're doing what needs to be done to get to that mission, to get to that vision. Now, if you set your vision once and you sit down and you say, hey, you know what would be really nice is if I start an agency, I make 10K a month and I fly out to Cape Town. I mean, sure, that would be great, but it lasts maybe a couple of hours, maybe a day, maybe two if you're lucky, right? But if you're not repeating this same vision every single day, you're not going to be programming yourself to want it to the extent that it needs to be for you to be able to pursue it through any means, okay? And what I mean by that is you're gonna have some great days, you're gonna have some tough days, you're gonna have some days where quite frankly, you don't really wanna work, okay? But if you acknowledge the reason and you understand deeply the reason that you're on this mission, the reason that this vision matters to you and why it's so important, it makes it a lot easier to just get the work done. And ultimately getting the work done is gonna get us to the vision. So, I realized my tone of this video has come across more of a rant, and this, I don't want it to be a rant. I'm just so passionate about this topic of people actually knowing what their vision is and sticking to it. I have a vision written down that I read at least twice a day. If I'm having a day where I'm, you know, everybody has these days where you're just not 100% feeling everything, I will read through this vision and I'll align it to the activity that I'm doing. If there's an activity that I'm doing and I don't particularly want to do, if I have to, I will literally make a list, if not physically, a mental list of the reasons why I need to do the thing that I'm stopping myself from doing. For example, uploading short form content, something that I've never really wanted to do, but I understand that comes from a place of emotion and ego as opposed to a place of what is actually going to grow the business. So yesterday I dedicated the first 4 hours of my day to getting all of the short form content that I've already had made, I just haven't uploaded. Creating a system where there's like a library, and created a system so it's very easy for me to shoot some content, upload it to a Google Drive. My editor is immediately notified. Then he can go and actually just make the videos. Once those done, I get notified, they're added to the library, and then they just have to get uploaded. Really, really simple. But what was my point here? The point is that you're not gonna love everything that you do, but you need to find a reason that you should do it. And my reason for doing the short form content is making a bigger impact on the world and the people that I'm trying to contact. If I'm able to put content out there and it got, I really don't want to misquote this because I put it out publicly. I can't remember the exact figure. I think it was 1.6K views in 12 hours. That I'm not 100% sure. I think it was 1.6K views. I did mention it on my IG story yesterday, my IG and Facebook story. But the point is, you're gonna have to do something sometimes that you don't particularly want to do. In my case, I didn't want to create the short form content because I don't really believe in it. I don't really think it's a good idea for people to scroll TikTok, Facebook Reels, IG Reels, YouTube Shorts. I don't really think it's a great way to spend your time. However, that judgment is not for me to make. I should just create the content for those that actually want to digest the content and allow them to see the content that I'm putting out there that's giving them value. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I had to kind of really acknowledge why it was so important for me to do the short form, and why it made sense for me to just sit down one day, focus 4 hours, get done exactly what I needed to get that done, and then now it's going to be a lot simpler. It's a process that I don't particularly want to do, so I had to simplify it as much as process, potentially even get my VA to take care of all of it. I don't have to do anything except be the one shooting the video. Very, very powerful. This video is about vision, but the reason that I'm bringing up this analogy again is because there are going to be some things that you don't want to do. But when you're so tied into your vision and you know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, where you're trying to get to, it makes it much, much simpler to just be able to remove the ego, remove the emotion, do what's necessary to get the result that you are after, and just do the fucking work. That's it. That's it. So, I'm going to tell you the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, which is when people tell you to read your vision twice a day, a lot of people don't take that seriously. I would like you to take this serious from now on. Everybody watching this video, I don't care if you're just on my Facebook and you're, I say just on my Facebook, I mean everybody that's on my Facebook I think I may have spoke to at least once. So for you watching this video, I would like you to take this very seriously. For the people in my mentorship program, I would like you to take this extremely seriously. Because if you have your vision and you're tied into your vision so with such crystal clear, whatever I was going to say, you got to internalize the vision. You've got to understand the vision to every single part of your body. The vision has to be aligned. Okay, if you're not aligned with your vision, if you're not pursuing something that's truly important to you, which is a separate point, is living your own goals, actually pursuing something that you want as opposed to something that guru told you, right? I don't want to go on a massive tangent now, but I will actually, because when I was working my 9 to 5, my core goal was to leave my 9 to 5. It wasn't to make 5K a month, it wasn't to make 10K a month, it was to make, I think, like 1.2, 1.6, something like that. It wasn't to make 10K a month. My goal when I was working my 9 to 5 was to get out of my 9 to 5. So I just broke it down, made it much more simpler than most people put it out to be. And I got the first couple of clients and I was like, hey, I'm out of here. I got my savings for the first 3 months, which I calculated. I knew exactly how much I needed. I calculated exactly how much I would need to make based on my personal expenses, my business expenses. Then with the revenue that I would make, how much I would have to pay for tax. Like, I went into extreme detail. I knew the figure. And every single morning I would look at this document that said my personal expenses. I can vision the document in my head. Personal expenses, business expenses, total expenses. And then it would say how much revenue I need to make, how much tax I would be paying on that revenue with those expenses, into the calculation. And then I would know exactly how much profit I would make and how much I needed to live my life, right? And that there, I read pretty much every day. When I came back from my 9 to 5 and I was tired, I would look at this piece of paper that said I only need to make, I think it was either 1.2 or 1.6k pounds to be able to leave my 9 to 5 and to have something like, I think it was 3.8k in savings. And as long as I had that, I was good to leave. So every day when I got back from my 9 to 5, if I was feeling a little bit lazy, like I didn't want to do the work, I would just look at this document on the wall that said, hey Reece, you only need to make 1.2, 1.6, whatever that figure was. And then I would be like, okay, let's get to work. Because I knew what the vision was. I had such a strong vision of being here in South Africa recording this video right now. Like, understand that everything that I'm living right now has been built over the past few years, 3 years specifically, even longer. Potentially, I've been in business for 6 years now, but successfully meaning with a client at least from 3 years ago. That's when I signed my first proper client 3 years ago, is what I mean. So, point is, I'm here today because it's the vision that I was reading 3 years ago, okay? And when I was working my 9 to 5, I was able to leave my 9 to 5 because I was reading the vision that I needed to be able to leave my 9 to 5, right? Just to have a first couple of clients and then just be able to go and do whatever I wanted to do. And then from there, of course, when I was left my 9 to 5, I was like, hey, let's push this further, because I'm an entrepreneur, and naturally, you want to keep pushing. You want to keep pushing yourself. That's part of being an entrepreneur. So, yeah, I hope you've got some value from this video. Again, I want to say, you got to read, you got to acknowledge your vision, get really deep and know what your vision is, and then read it. Like, just read your vision at least twice a day. We can go into visualizations and all of that stuff, but it's not what this video is about. The visualizations are great because you can kind of see yourself living the vision. You can feel what it's like, and you can get used to that feeling where it almost feels like something's missing. which can really be valuable, because it's like you've kind of experienced the future before it's there, and then you feel like you're missing the future, if that makes sense. That might go over some people's heads, but if I've worded it correctly, then hopefully that's going to be valuable to some people. But yeah, this video was really impromptu. I was at the CAF cafe right now. I was eating a sandwich, nice BLT, and I was like, hey, I need to talk about vision, because it's like if you have this big compelling vision and you just read it and you acknowledge it daily, then you're going to get to where you want to be. So yeah, I hope that was valuable. Again, I'm out here in Cape Town. It's beautiful weather today. I think it's like 28, 29 degrees Celsius. It's pretty good. I wanted to shoot this video just because if you got a vision that matters to you, you got to remind yourself of it every day. You got to remind yourself of why it's important. You got to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, why you're pursuing it, why it's important, why it's valuable to you, to your family, to the rest of the world. You're only going to internalize the importance if you program yourself to seeing this, right? Just like how the media programs people into a state of fear by the majority of the news that they show is around people getting hurt in some way or another. The way that they program fear into you, you need to program your future and internalize that vision of why it's so important to you. I hope you've learned a thing or two in this video. Appreciate you watching it through to the end. I don't know where I'm going to post it. I think I'm just going to post it on Facebook. If it makes it to YouTube, you already know what to do. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I hope this has been valuable to some extent, and I'll see you in the next one.